What to be aware of? What should we always be aware of? AWARE. We got to be aware of our association. We got to be aware of who we're linked up to. We got to be aware of our friends. We got to be aware of who we are connected to emotionally, mentally, socially, physically, financially. You got to be aware of your associations financially, who you're in partnership in business. You got to be aware of your associations. You got to be aware of where they at on their life. That's why birds of a feather flock together. That's why some people are trying to be chickens when they're called to be eagles. Eagles fly alone, fam. And the more you live life, the more you begin to realize that ain't too many people going to want to be willing to fly as high as you want to go. How high do you want to go? Do you just want to be a chicken and all you do is pluck, 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 pluck on the ground? Or do you want to be eagle that sees everything because you high? You see what I'm saying? So what kind of bird you want to be? Do you want to be a chicken and a turkey, always getting cooked, eat by other people? Or do you want to be an eagle? Do you want to fly high? You got to be aware of your associations. Where are they trying to fly to? Where are they trying to go? You got to be aware of your associations. You got to be aware of your friends. You got to be aware of where they are in life. You got to let God select your friends. You got to be aware of your associations. Number 2, you got to be aware of your level of acknowledgement. You got to be aware of how often you acknowledge God. You got to be aware of that. You just can't keep acting without acknowledging. You got to be aware of that. Have I gone days or weeks without even acknowledging God about this relationship, without acknowledging God about my parenting, acknowledging God about my spousing, you know what I'm saying, my marriage, my husbanding? How long are you going in a position without acknowledging the one that put you there? You can't go long periods without acknowledging God. I acknowledge God probably every hour on the hour. Am I on the right path? Did I handle this with this child different? Did I handle this with this? I acknowledge it. And you have to. Did I handle this with my wife the way I should? I got to acknowledge often. And there has been periods of times in my life where I went hours without acknowledging God, if not days without acknowledging him in a particular area, and it came up to bite me. But thank God for the group hug of grace and mercy. That's why I've learned, no, I can't go long period of time without acknowledging God. Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? I got to acknowledge God. So I got to always be aware of the level of my acknowledgement of God. That's what the Bible says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not into your understanding, but in all your ways. Not in some of your ways, not in most ways, but in all your ways, acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. So you must be aware of your associations, who you're connected to. You also got to be aware of how often you acknowledge God, especially with the position that you have, especially in singleness, especially in marriage, especially in all critical places of life. You got to acknowledge God because God will always ensure you come out unscathed. What should you be aware of? Your work and your wealth ethics. You got to be aware of that. You got to be well aware. Like if you want a certain level of wealth, if you want a certain level of success, you got to acknowledge or be aware of your work ethic. Am I working at the level that I desire to be? Am I exhibiting the right work ethics? Am I exhibiting the right wealth ethics? How can you desire to have wealth if you don't have a wealth mindset and have wealth ethics? See, right now I'm practicing wealth ethics. I am reversing the poverty mindsets that my mind has been set on. I'm reversing the way I'm thinking through the help of the Holy Spirit, the way I think about money. It's never too late to change the way you think about money. And the way you think about money is to never love it, but to use it for God's glory. There's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with wealth. God says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. There needs to be a constant, continuous support, guarded by angelic support throughout the lineage of you and your name so that the gospel can continue to be funded and so that your children won't have to go through unnecessary stuff. So you got, if the level that you want, you got to say, am I working at that level? And do I have the wealth ethics of that level, right? Let's keep going. What you should be aware of or what to be aware of, your actions. How am I acting? Like literally, how am I acting? Am I acting immature? Am I acting impure? How am I acting? I got to be constant aware of my actions and how my actions are perceived. Now, if your actions is how it's supposed to be, who cares how it's received? But I got to make sure that I keep the receiver in mind. Communication is not just the deliverer of the communication, it's also the receiver of the communication. And actually how the communication is being presented. I got to always be aware of my actions and how am I acting? How could my actions be perceived so my good won't be spoken evil of? I got to be aware of my attention and what gets it. Attention is currency. That's why they say pay attention. Pay attention means your attention is actually worth more than money. Your attention is worth more than money. If it wasn't so, then why is social media paying billions of dollars for your attention? If attention was not more important than money, then people would care less about your attention. But your attention is valuable. You gotta audit and be aware of what has your attention, because whatever has your attention grows. Whatever has your focus flows. Whatever has your focus flourishes. That's why you got to say, okay, how much of my attention is giving to certain things? Because I promise you, you are surrounded by the flourishings of what has your focus. So if you're not flourishing in the area, it doesn't have the necessary focus and attention. But you got to be aware of what has your attention, because the enemy wants you in detention. Next point, what to be aware of? Your righteousness in Jesus. That's stuff. Be aware of that. And what I mean by that is the imputed righteousness of Jesus. I'm aware of that. So when I make a mistake, I'm already in the family. His imputed rights. I'm aware of my righteousness in Jesus. I'm aware of it. That I'm in right standing with God. Hell is under penalty of mine. I don't got to worry about hell. Now, the awards I get in heaven, the things that how I would be judged based upon how I build on Christ. Now that I got to worry about, but I don't got to worry about hell. I don't got to worry about hell. I ain't going there. That's why I like my house cool, because I ain't worrying about it. I ain't going there. So if I ain't going there, I ain't gonna allow the heat to hit me here, right? So what I'm saying is that you got to be aware of your righteousness of Jesus. Righteousness because of Jesus. Like, I'm in right standing with God because of the sacrifice of Jesus. Man, I'm glad about that. I'm aware of that. So when I do make a mistake, I know his imputed righteousness has granted me access to the Father, access to grace and mercy that follows me, forgiveness, joy. I'm aware of that. I'm a son of God. The issue is, the reason why we mismanage other positions is because we're not aware of our first position or our redeemed position. The more I become aware that I'm a son of God and that I am fathered by him, then when I know that he's a good father, right? And I know that he loves me, then when I make a genuine mistake or when I make a whatever, I don't fall into condemnation. I fall into the arms of Christ. And then he'll make everything all right. And now I can get back on the path I need to. So I got to be aware that I'm a son of God and the benefits that come with that, especially when it comes to mistakes and the grace and mercy that comes with that. Last but not least, I must be aware of my emotions. Where am I emotionally? How is my emotional intelligence? Am I able to discern how I feel and why I feel it and not flood into my feelings? I have to be aware of my emotions. I got to be aware of, like, some people, man, they are where they are because of their attitude. They are where they are right now because of what wounded them at 16, what wounded them at 12, who wounded them at 23. So now they got these negative attitudes that's permeating throughout their lives, and it's keeping them from getting what's right for them. No peaceful man wants a problematic woman. No woman who's at peace wants a problematic, perverted man. People of peace want people of peace. That's why, listen, why you think eagles fly so high? Ain't nothing up there but God. So what I'm saying is peace attracts peace. And the reason why certain pieces are not in your life because you don't got peace in your life. So when you welcome the peace of God in your life, pieces from the peace of God comes into your life. So you got to check your emotions. Is my attitude affecting what's being brought to me? Is my attitude affecting the dude that's not in my life right now? What is it? I got to check my emotions. I also got to be aware of my energy and where it goes. You only have a certain amount of energy to work with every day based upon your eating habits and your sleeping habits. You only have a certain amount of energy. That's why you got to manage what gives you energy. And you also got to audit what is taking your energy so that you can have premium energy for things that deserves your energy. So what must you be aware of for time's sake? You got to be aware of your associations, who you're around. You got to be aware of how often you acknowledge God. You got to be aware of your work and wealth ethics. You got to be aware of your actions and where your attention is. You got to be aware of your righteousness in Jesus. And you got to be aware of your emotions and where your energy goes.